I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coraleekaren, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It is the breakfast hour time. Welcome to the breakfast hour. It is wonderful to be alive. The month of June is running non-stop. Morning, Mikey G. How are you?
Morning, Elisa. As you mentioned, the month of June that is non-stopping. So many persons have been having birthdays and special moments, in this time. So I guess later on in our program this morning, we will talk a little bit more about that. But June is has become a very interesting month.
Yes.
What it is not really it is commonly known for a few years ago as Pride Month. I didn't hear so much about it this year, so I don't know if something has gone wrong with that, or it's just on the back burner for a comeback. I don't know. But
what I do know, Mikey G, is that life is dynamic and things constantly move and change in many directions. I want to say a big good morning to all viewers tuned in on YouTube, on Facebook. We are happy that you chose to join us. But we will take a short break and then we come back. We will continue the conversation right here at the breakfast hour.
Of course, it's time for devotional by Lady Susan Long when we come back.
Good morning. This is day 26. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. 1 John chapter 4, verse 7. Love one another, written by Vernon Groans. Brandon Moody was attending his uncle D.L. Moody's church on Easter Sunday morning. The final scene in the impressive pageant was a depiction of Jesus' ascension into heaven. The actor who was playing Jesus was being hoisted by stagehands through an opening in the ceiling. But when he was halfway up, they lost their grip and down came the actor, thankfully uninjured. With amazing presence of mind, the actor said to the shocked congregation, "And one more thing, love one another." Love was so important to Jesus that he told his disciples shortly before his arrest and crucifixion, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. By this all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." John, known as the disciple whom Jesus loved, and the man who recorded these words of Jesus, wrote much about love in his first letter. Several times in chapter 4, the apostle urged his fellow believers to love one another. This can be seen in 1 John 4, verse 7, verse 11, and verse 12. No matter what is happening in our lives, let us make Jesus' commandment and John's exhortation our mission statement: love one another. Lord, when I learn that someone is hurting, help me know what to do and to say. Speak to my heart and give me compassion. Let your great love flow through me today. Our quote this morning reads, "A little love can make a big difference." End Oh.
You ever hear earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it comes, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't go to the doorway or any exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take for yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't want to run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
Looking to build your dream home or renovate your space? M&M Construction is the perfect place. We bring your vision to life with precision and quality craftsmanship. From design to construction, we guide you every step, ensuring seamless coordination and superior results. Our professional roof inspection and maintenance services will ensure that your roof is sturdy this hurricane season. So, if you are ready to start your construction journey, call us today at 345-927-7509. Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. 345-927-7509.
Say welcome back to the breakfast hour this morning. Indeed, it is another Thursday morning right in the Grand Cayman Islands, and we are exploring, some of the things that happened on a Thursday in 2025, June 26th. Many years ago, yes, last year, the year before, but on this particular day, things happen. I don't know, but we have so many things we want. We have questions. Like I started out this morning, and we talked about the idea of this month at one point, the entire June month, which celebrates even my birthday, and many like myself. And so far, we have gone from our team. I think 2 persons already from our VIP.
Yes, I think you kicked off the month, if I recall.
Yeah,
if you're listening, viewers out there,
yes.
If you're listening and you want to have your input, I'm just making sure that I have my facts straight before I share them. Before I share these facts, let us, of course, verify whose birthday it was. And no, I don't know. So you seem to have kicked off. You kicked off the month, Mikey G. You seem to have been the one that kicked off June.
I got June out in a hurry. Yeah. From the box, I went off non-stop, and so And so a few persons that I know. My son is one of those persons who had a birthday along with me this month. At least one of my sons. One of my sons had a birthday with me this month. Uh, I would say that some of our VIP members are having birthdays. Children,
Yes.
are we still celebrating a few of those?
I believe Mr. Copeland
Mr.
celebrated his
Right, Mr.
birthday.
Copeland, and I think we were trying to get a hold of him at one point. I'm not sure what
Yes.
went.
We will reach out to him
I
today.
don't know
Of
what went
course, Lady
awry with.
Tishala celebrated her birthday
Yeah,
this month of June as well.
so many persons. Nikki, B, Flash Talks. I know,
Nikki
I know,
B.
yeah. Mikey B, Flash Talks. Yeah. But anyways, we talk about birthdays a little more, but then just to talk about the month of the year, Coraleekaren did a celebration and all that. So we're going to be looking at some birthday celebration later on and who's doing what. But just as a reminder of June as a month of such controversy over the years, and brought me to a place where I was a very uncomfortable guy for a while. I really had a hard time, simulating some of the conversations that we are having.
How are you doing now, Mikey G?
I am feeling good.
Simulation
I'm
reached.
not feeling too badly now. I wanted to be proud of June, but not for the reasons it was being proud of.
Well,
You
I
know.
can tell you there's one reason I'm proud of the month of June, and today, the 26th of June, is celebrated as National Coconut Day.
Yeah, coconut man.
Now, this is
I always like to go traveling on the road. When I go like long distances, like in Jamaica and stuff like that, and even Grand Cayman. I used to drive down to East End, and there was a coconut man at the edge of the side of the road at like I think right before you reach or afterwards before you reach the restaurant, what's the name again, Lighthouse, that community that we East End, the last one there, Breakers. Before we reached Breakers, right at the edge of Breakers, there was a man selling right at the front of his yard coconut water. And I used to drive and stop here. He's not there anymore. I'm not seeing him anymore, but been a while I haven't seen him. But it was a nice experience just driving and seeing jelly on the side of the road. And I'd stop sometime and grab a jelly. More than enough. I'd stop and get one of them.
okay. So, thank you for that trip down to memory lane. I like to share with the listeners and viewers what's happening, not just in our immediate surrounding. And I found it interesting that today is the National Coconut Day. And this was founded in 2019 by the Coconut Coalition of the Americas. Now, summer starts in earnest on the 26th of June when National Coconut Day arrives. This sweet food holiday celebrates all things coconut, including the benefits of coconut and to your health. Now, coconut offers sweet support for our bodies in several ways. We use the coconut in many different forms for our bodies and everyday cooking, from shredded coconut to milk, cream, water, and oil. Each provides essential nutrients and flavor. Its antiviral and antimicrobial properties are notable as well. Coconut oil alone falls into the superfood category. Did you know this? Due
No,
to its
I did not know that.
triglyceride content and all that they seem to do, whether supporting a weight loss program, moisturizing skin and hair, or metabolizing into energy. Coconut oil plays a significant role in our body. Coconut is rich in fiber, vitamin B6, iron, and minerals like magnesium, manganese, yes, phosphorus, selenium, and zinc. The oil from coconut moisturizes our skin and also keeps our skin clear and hair silky too. In the kitchen, we love coconut. Beyond the baked goods, coconut infuses sweet flavor to our cooking because of the contents of the coconut oil doesn't absorb in the body as fat. It is an ideal alternative to other oils and fats. So, especially in the Caribbean, I would say
Coconut.
we can use coconut for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All right, so let's think outside the box for a moment, Mikey G. And if you're thinking about your porridge, right? A lot of persons are using
American, especially the American idea of making
the coconut,
yes.
right?
If you don't have the coconut American, you're not going to have that luscious, delicious meal. Yes.
Yes.
You're going to have
right. And one of the things about coconut is even without any processing, before it becomes oil or milk, you can eat it just the same way. Right? You don't have to be drops. I used to use, and this is not healthy, listeners, the harder coconut, you put a little sugar on it and you eat it.
Well, I didn't have any problem with it when I was growing up.
But no, we don't.
I think there's
as much.
I know. I hear the conversation about the sugars and
yes,
stuff that we eat.
Sugar is
bad. Sugar is crystal sugar and all the stuff, products of sugar is like one of the greatest leader of hypertension or heart disease or something to that effect.
Diabetes and other
sugar leads to
right.
When you get too sweet,
Right, you're too sweet.
Well, for me, coconut is I like a coconut chutney. I don't know many persons when I say coconut chutney, you know that somebody else knows. You know about coconut chutney?
I've never had coconut chutney.
No. Well, that's a meal that my mom used to make. Something that she used to make. Is like a side dish, right? And so like I cook, when she cook like the rice and peas, or even when she cook rundown, you know what rundown is? That time you used to have shad rundown.
Rundown. Yeah, that is something that I forgot, that even in breakfast, apart from the porridge, you could do a rundown for breakfast.
Yes.
And the coconut is
coconut in the shad rundown, right?
For international listeners, please, you can Google rundown. Let me see what happens when you say rundown.
No, don't even go there. Well, anyways, so for me, a coconut chutney is very good. So it's applicable to most of the meals that you eat, or if not all. Just drop a little bit on the side, and it just tasty. But there's lots of spices and garlic and onions and stuff in there, and it tastes so good. So for me, it's a good thing. Coconut plant. But remember when they used to say coconut oil wasn't good for you because it was clogging up your arteries and all of these things. And then the next thing I know, it's good for you. In fact, it's better than all the other vegetable oils that were recommended over the coconut oil that they could have sold millions first, then they were bad then. It was a troubling thing for me to see that and hear that, because I grew up on coconut oil and it was the best oil for us to have. Then to hear how bad it was, it troubled me. My mother used to make coconut oil. We got the coconut and she boiled her own oil. We didn't need no processing plant to do oil in my time. My mother used to do it. We had our old oil factory at home. Coconut. Of course, we're talking a little bit more. What you want to share? If there's any more on today's, what's on it today? Anything more?
As I think about the coconut, I think of being sustainable. I think someone shared recently in a chat that I'm a part of, which are the countries that produce enough to feed their own. And I think of the idea of being able to create meals from what you do have. And as you think about the coconut, you think about drinking the water. coconut water. You think about eating the actual coconut. The shell of the coconut, I've seen it used in artwork. I've seen persons do painting and carvings using the shell of the coconut. The husk of the coconut is used for planting your orchids. So as we celebrate Coconut Day, can you think, listeners, viewers, can you think of one unique way that we have not mentioned that we can use the coconut? If you can think of one way, then of course just drop it in the comments in the chat. I'm looking to see if there's any comment there in the chat, but just drop it in the chat if you can think of any way that Mikey G and I haven't mentioned either, that of course we can use the coconut.
You know, when you talk about countries that feed themselves, I think I have a statement on food in two ways. Food in two ways is food security and I think food sovereignty. I'm not, and I think that's probably not the right word, sovereignty, but it comes to that point of view. But food security is something that is encouraged across the world. And what food security is it's basically saying that you can secure food from us to feed yourself, feed your nation. And this the country that has food security has enough money to buy food and supply it from somebody else who will supply the food to you. But the sovereignty of having food is you producing your own food. And you can't weaponize it to decide if I'm hungry or starve me and not feed me if I don't agree with some of your policies as well. You know? And so when we hear these things, it sounds like it sounds good when you hear about we have food security. Sounds good, right? And I'm just learning a few things. I'm not, I learned a lot of things late in my time. I didn't learn it early in the day. I learned it later on. And so it is for the younger one to learn it, because I had to take so much time to learn some of these things. And I'm going to say it now in just 5 minutes or 2 minutes, and you would have learned it now as a younger person, thinking you're smarter than other person who had to learn it for 40 years. Never learned it. You just hear it, but we understand what it means because we experience it. But we want the younger persons to know that when you gather your information, teach the next generation, so they even become smarter and more proactive about the issues that are at hand. But you ever consider the idea of food security, or any of that? Have you ever considered countries trying to plant their own food or have their own feed themselves, and if there's a law against it to do it, or is there something wrong with doing it, or it's discouraged, or if it's not discouraged, it is basically espionage is applied, which means you will find somebody planting tomatoes in your country and you have 100 acres of tomato that can't be sold because tomato come from somewhere else, $1 a dozen.
Well, when you think about it that way, Mikey G, then you realize how much we have missed the mark in terms of we're not thinking, we just look at the convenience of stuff instead of the idea of planting your own little garden and being able to have meals from it.
But the backyard garden is one aspect of that. But nationalizing food is another idea. Have you noticed how quickly your industries of food industries, like your sugar cane and everything, went down because of tariffs that were formed or prices that blocked certain products that would have allowed your even to supply other countries the tariff that was there that blocks you from competing on the world stage, on the international stage, that render your product, because the country can use so much of your sugar, your own production, but you need the export market to bring money back to the country, and that was part of the dependency on in terms of getting what you call financing for the country's GDP for the continued growth of the country, basing it on a money earning factor. But then in a few years, you have no more cane fields, planting canes, but now we're planting houses on those farmlands, right? You realize that something has gone wrong with something, and it sounds and look good that we are doing that. But if you notice what we have done so far is that we have disenfranchised ourselves and become a nation of dependency. That if somebody else sneezes, we catch a cold.
Wow.
That's what we did, right? And so we didn't see this. It looks good that we are making houses for poor people to live. But poor people are only poorer because we have not nationalized some of the industries that we needed to have the foreign exchange earning ability. We have to be borrowing money to finance our debt and continue to finance our lifestyle continually. We cannot have food sovereignty. And so we are fully what you call having food security, which everybody supply your food. And if they choose to starve you, you will die. That's something interesting.
Wow.
So if you might have to look at a few countries around the world that actually can provide food for itself and feed itself without help from anyone at all. I go to the idea of ganja plants being cut down in one country and grown as another plant in the other country, same plant, and called another name, and is established as a farming product. I watch these things. I am very skeptical about stuff like that. So yeah. Alright. Having said that, I think we spent enough time on all of that. Food for thought for this month. Of course, we go for a break, and when we come back, we look at a feature that we want to share with you. Maybe on the same topic of, I'm still touching on it the month of June. We are almost ending June. I have one more child that is born in June as well. My eldest daughter is born in June, and so later on in this month, not much left of it, but we'll be celebrating.
Yeah, I was just about to say we are on the 26th day of June.
I caught it at the end. I caught her at the end of it. I caught her at the end.
You caught her at the end. Yes. Better late than never.
Better late than never. When we come back.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4, Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coraleekaren, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
Say welcome back this morning. Yes, I know, food for thought for our last conversation. It gets a little deep sometimes. Mikey G gets some stuff in there. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not that I'm struggling to figure out, but I have to be on my P's, Q's, V's, whatever letter. Yes, I have to be knowing what's happening because Mikey G is going to share that with us. But just a reminder, of course, that we are indeed still in the
Hurricane
season. And of course, we thought it necessary to share what's, are the current happenings or what is happening based on the Hurricane Center's latest update. And the latest update is that the tropical cyclone activity is none. Everything is clear for the next 7 days. If you look on that map, you will see nice clear oceans, nothing churning up so far, but we do expect that we will have an active season nonetheless.
Sometimes I hear that this dust come from there's this dust that come from Africa, ladies.
Sahara, yes.
That Sahara dust that comes from Africa. I keep coming across all the time. I never knew it was existing until recent time.
Yeah.
So let's look across Africa to see if we are finding a storm coming across. I don't. I just think. All right. Having said that, I was, as we talked about the idea of June as being a very interesting month. And
the start of the hurricane season.
The start of the hurricane season. It's very interesting that this month would start the hurricane season, and some of the things that we're celebrating was the Pride Month idea. I'm going to go to it, and it bothered me for a long time that people would choose to use the month that I was born in to actually celebrate all of that. Let's say all of that. I don't even want to justify it right now or to do that, but I understand everybody have their choices, and but I want to choose my month not to be that. I want to choose that. Don't do that with June. I don't hear much about it, but then here is why we don't hear much about it anymore, because we had an election in the United States of America some time ago.
Yes.
And I would say that the main reason people voted was to secure their children from the whole Pride Month activities mentality. And it's like there was a big push on indoctrinating and putting persons who couldn't speak out on this matter, that everybody needed to be this or you're going to be problems. If I choose I don't want to associate with it, I have to associate because it's in your face, and if you don't, you're going to go to jail. That was what was offered. And so I found this clip, and I want to share it. I'm not politically aligned in any way, so it's not about politics and who wins or who didn't win. I want to share with why who wins. What was the mindset that created the narrative that this person was the best option of all the options that you have to win an election of this magnitude and to guide people. And so we want to know why people never choose the other government, the other leaders, the other person to lead, and chose the government that is presently in operation right now in the United States of America. I know. So is that political? This is not a political aligning statement. What I'm making is the reason people choose. So as a disclaimer, I want you to know that this is not political. It has nothing to do with if Mikey G is a Democrat or a Republican or an African I'm not African because I'm Indian. I'm a Jamaican. So I have to just look at it from that perspective. Alright? So we have to say this is what it is. I'm going to use the term again, it is not politically aligned. What I want you to get from it is the message that is there. There are some of the reasons why the choices were made for the no government that is now leading. And would you have made the same choices given these choices to make? After thinking about it. All right, let me have that one. Let's do it.
As to why they lost this election. They want to think it has something to do with misogyny or racism. Well, let me clear it up for those still bewildered Democrats. You lost because you tried to tell the American people that the economy was great when they couldn't afford to buy groceries. You lost because you ran a moron in place of a president you knew was a corpse attached to a car battery. You lost because you lied about January 6th, calling it worse than Pearl Harbor or 9/11. You lost because men can't have babies, women don't have and free speech isn't a privilege like a driver's license. It's a God-given right guaranteed by our Constitution. You lost because you fired doctors, nurses, scientists, and frontline workers for refusing to take an experimental gene therapy because my body, my choice only counts if it's about abortion.
All right. That one sting. You felt that a while ago, did it? Ouch! Ouch! Mercy! Ouch! Ouch! Hey, you know, I remember one time, you know, I tell you something. There's a man, you know, where my father, I grew up as a farmer's son, alright? And my father had a cow, many cows, many different animals, goats, cows, whatever. And so we lost the cow in the list. Couldn't find the cow. And so we had this gentleman who, you know, we had lots of hands who worked on the farm as well. And so this man, they call him Piggy Wee. Piggy Wee was like the go-to guy. Father right-hand man. Everything that he, you know, would say, Piggy Wee, come here, come do this for me, alright. You know, he's a right-hand guy. And so Piggy Wee would be the one who do everything. We lost the cow, and so my father can't find the cow and looking for it all over the place and can't find it. But then said, well, you know, so he said, you know, call my father's name and say, you know, my father said we're going to go and look in some of the hills because the hills were nearby. We live closer to the hillsides in the, you know, mountainous terrains. But lots of plain, but it goes into the mountain. And Piggy Wee helped my father to search for the cow for like about 1 week, walking out the entire place, and couldn't find the cow. Nowhere to be found, that the cow gone. With calf, you know, the cow had, like, was impregnated and had prize, you know. Father was waiting for it to drop so he could get another small animal from it. A policeman, came by. I don't want to call his name, but I would, you know. And so he came by the house, and when he came by the house, he said he said to my father, "Oh, you know, sir, oh, you know that this man have something to do with it." So I said, "I think the man we have walking and looking for the cow have something to do with the cow disappearance. You know? I just don't trust him." My father said, "No, man. Piggy Wee is a trusted man. He was one of my best worker. You know, he worked very good." He said, "Well, carry him come. I could talk to you." And they have a thing they call him Simple Jack. I don't know if you know, they ever hear the term Simple Jack. And so as he come up, the policeman grab him up in his waist and pull him up. And said that the policeman was like about 6 foot something, you know, tall. And, you know, never very proper, but tall. And he grabbed him in the waist and pull him up. And I tell you, by pulling him up, the next thing you know, the gentleman started to talk. The policeman put on one slap on him. The next thing you know, Piggy Wee started to say, let me tell you how it go. And that was the storyline. It's very interesting to know that sometimes, people will keep something from you until there's a consequence. I know that the conversation we're having just stung a little bit. It did something a while ago that probably created a situation. When you think about the reasons we have, the election was lost was because of all the different things that was in there. The complete ridiculousness of some of the absurd things that were being promoted and tried to pass into law, and it was established. And so many persons did not agree with it. They disagreed so badly, and now we are faced with another situation. Some persons didn't want to choose the way they choose, but they chose because of this reason or that reason. And so here we are today. Now, I'm saying to you, choices are made, but we also find ourselves at a place where we must at some points understand basic principles. We must choose on the premise that we are sound-minded and our moral compass are in full operation. When we come back. And so we talk a little bit about that, the ladies, Piggy Wee could not the first slap him get out of the stable jack, Piggy Wee start to say, let me tell you how it go. And so he took my father to where the cow was slaughtered. Where they killed the cow and took it off to the market to sell it for meat. And he knew all along, I have my father walking for 1 week in the mountains, couldn't find the animal. So when you heard the thing a while ago about the whole why the election was lost, Pride Month was a big part of it. So if you don't hear much about Pride Month anymore, that's part of the reason.
Yeah, and the more we are a part of life and living, Mikey G, we understand that choices are made. I think we started this year by sharing with our listeners or viewers that a lot of countries were in election mode. As a matter of fact, Jamaica is also in election mode, and you find different representatives campaigning, persons want change. And so as one party or one political group, they carry out their mandate, then persons make choice. And it's important to have a choice in the matter. So this is happening and you want a choice, the choice is made. Well, so of course, the opinion shared on the video shared why the choices were made, and of course one of them, no, you can't afford to buy food, so we make another choice. There are things that are happening, so another choice is made. So whatever choice is made, I want to underscore too that life and even what happens in the world is all a part of history and prophecy unfolding. I have to bring it back to the biblical context.
Right. That's correct, it is.
We know presently there are things happening around, and while we are a part of living and things are happening in the backdrop, let's be clear that the world is not left to be spin out of control. There is a God. there's a God and we know that He's present in our circumstances. So while we live life and we make choices, whether we play games early in the morning or have devotions, those are
Choices
choices
that we make. You know,
that we make.
as you make the statement, about the fact that it is prophetic, all the things that are happening. And as we talk about the whole choices that we make, as I said, this is not a politically aligned conversation. I want everyone to be clear on that. No political alignment of the conversation. What we are aligned with is biblical alignment.
Biblical alignment.
Yes.
Biblical alignment.
No alignment politically,
I
but
don't want the morning to go without the birthday celebration, So I am reminding you.
We are right there. We are right there. And so the political alignment is not part of that. We don't want that to be the part. But we must see that, even recently, look at what happened in Israel, in Iran. A bomb was just dropped on them, just like that. And in the morning, for whatever the reason, I'm not even getting into the reasons why and all these things happening. But if you look at the world today, it's chaos everywhere. And when you think is peace and safety, it's sudden destruction. These are statements that were made earlier on. We looked across Libya is in chaos. We looked across Africa is in chaos. We look in other parts of the world, it's in chaos, right? And it is happening everywhere. And we have to be careful not to see that this was prophetically pronounced. And as God's people, we must understand that the fulfillment of God's word must come true. Sodom and Gomorrah must come back before God put in His appearance. So if you see Sodom and Gomorrah being established again, don't be perturbed or alarmed, but be strong in your faith and stay connected. That's what I would say. Of course, we go over to our birthday celebrations, ladies, as you say. We're going to be celebrating a few persons, and when we come back, celebration time.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Of course, welcome back to the Breakfast Show. Good morning once again. If you're just joining us for the first time, I want to say welcome to you. If you're listening on Facebook, Instagram, or on YouTube, we want to say good morning to you and welcome to the Breakfast Show. For those who are listening on our web radio, www.flashpointmedia.ky, good morning to you as well. Ladies, birthday celebration. And of course, we celebrated one of our own yesterday, Coraleekaren. I want to say good morning to you. And of course, happy birthday celebration going on. We are doing some belated birthday celebration today. We have been celebrating. We're going to be celebrating as far as the United Kingdom. We're going to be celebrating as far as the UK. All right. Ladies, you want to give the honors for this one?
I am looking.
Two beautiful young ladies this morning. Yes, I want to say good morning to Nicole. Nicole is all the way in. Nicole is, used to be one of our friends in Cayman. Is she still our friend? Yes?
Yes.
And so, she was one of our friends in Cayman, and she's still our friend all the way in the UK. And so this morning she has two beautiful girls.
Twins.
Yes.
And Torian.
She chooses to do this one. So I want to say happy birthday to you, Torian.
Yuri and Tori.
Yuri and Torian this morning. Nice.
Can you imagine sharing a birthday with your twin?
Yurian and Torian.
Torian and Torian. Beautiful young ladies, we want to say to you on behalf of the entire Flashpoint team and our listeners and viewers, we want to take this opportunity to wish you a happy birthday, both of you. May the Lord bless you richly and may you have many, many, many more happy birthdays. And of course, I hope you celebrated in fine style up there in the UK. It's supposed to be the sunny time of the year, but we want to just wish you all the best from all of us. I hope to see you one of these days soon. Yes. Yuri and Torian, happy birthday.
I remember when they were much smaller than I, and so I talked to them at some point years ago. I got a chance to say hello when they were much younger, you know. And no, look at that.
Yeah, Yuri and Tori, happy birthday. And of course,
happy birthday, Yuri and Torian.
Yes.
Birthday. Of course, who's next on the list of birthdays to celebrate? Here
of
she
course,
is.
You had a whole thing happening right here in the studio, and we have to say again, belated birthday to Coraleekaren, who is the co-host of the Grand Revival Bible Study Hour and our news anchor for the breakfast hour. We want to wish you so many more happy birthdays. May the Lord bless you richly, abundantly, more than you can ever ask, think, or imagine. Wishing you all the best for today, for yesterday, and beyond.
Well, as I had my quota yesterday, I did a good job. When I called, they said, Mikey G, I'm going to put you on speaker. Behave yourself.
As if you don't always, right, Mikey G?
I don't know. She said, Mikey G, behave yourself.
That's standard operating procedure for you, right?
Well, she did that, so I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna leave that right here. So, good morning, Coraleekaren. Happy birthday to you. Of course, we, that's all I'm gonna say. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, happy belated birthday from all of us, and we want to wish you all the best. Birthdays are significant. It is an opportunity to give thanks, and we always recommend that a heart of thanksgiving and gratefulness is important for your health and well-being. So I want to take that opportunity to wish you all the best, and may you have many, many more happy years. Continue to be a wonderful part of Team Flashpoint. We certainly do love you. Wishing you all the best.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. And so, Compleanno feliz. Compleanno feliz. Compleanno feliz.
All right, so that's it for us today on the breakfast hour. We have had a good morning. We reminded you that today is that day that is National Coconut Day. Yes, it's a nationally recognized holiday. Started in 2019, and if you can think of one unique way that coconut is used, you can share it with us. But you might want to, in celebration of the day, go and have yourself a coconut treat. If you are worried about the calories, it doesn't have to be grate cake or drops. You can drink some coconut water.
I love a drops any day of the week.
Yes.
Nice drop. Lots of sugar. I'm sorry, guys.
But it's National Coconut Day. Go ahead and make yourself be deliberate in having a coconut treat today. Also, just a reminder, there are no active hurricanes or storms being monitored as of this moment based on our update from the National Hurricane Center. And we want to wish you all the best for today and beyond. I was wondering if I had this video to share with our listeners, just as a reminder. Yeah.
Hi friends, did you know that June 1 is the beginning of hurricane season? Well, it is important that you make the necessary preparations. As a result, you need to put the plans in place that are essential to make sure that if anything were to happen, that you will recover quickly. June 1 to November 30 is hurricane season. Be vigilant, be on guard, be here. We're going to share with you some tips that you can employ during this season. Come with us.
First things first, let's talk about creating an emergency plan. Create an emergency plan. Discuss this emergency plan with your household or family members. Know your evacuation routes and choose a safe meeting place if you get separated. Please don't forget to include your pets in your plan.
Assemble an emergency kit. Your kit should include non-perishable food, water, medication, your important documents, batteries, a flashlight, first aid kit, and your hygiene products. Remember, pack enough supplies to last at least 3 days. It's the hurricane season.
Prepare your homes. Secure loose items outside. Board up windows. Trim trees and bushes to reduce risk of damages. Consider installing storm shutters and check the condition of your roof.
Stay informed. Keep an eye on local weather updates and alerts. Sign up for emergency notifications from your local government. A battery powered or handheld radio can be a lifesaver if you lose power. Remember, be prepared.
Evacuation plans. Know where your evacuation zones and your hurricane shelters are. Have a plan when you're going to get to the shelter and how you're going to get to the shelter. Fill up your gas tank with gas and have a go bag ready with bare essentials.
As we enter the hurricane season, we have some financial preparedness tips also. There are 3 tips that I have for you. First one, check your insurance documents to make sure that it covers flood and hurricane damage. 2, secure your personal documents such as passports, insurance policies, car papers, and so on in a secure, watertight container. And 3, ensure that you get cash, because in the event that online banking or your ATMs go down, you want to make sure that you can still make those emergency purchases.
The best way to prepare is to have a plan. So, how do we plan? There are a number of ways that we can stay safe in a hurricane. The first way is to make sure, for those patients who are on a number of medications, to make sure you have your medications ready. plan with your pharmacy and your health insurance to get those extra supplies of medication that you need to carry you through that storm. Your health insurance is very important, so make sure you have access to this and keep it in a safe place. Take a picture on your phone and store it in the cloud or on a USB port somewhere where you have this readily available in case it's necessary. For those persons who are on medications that have to be refrigerated, make sure you get them at that temperature that needs to keep the viability of those medications. If you do not have access to a generator, dry ice is an option. And if there's no dry ice, then you can keep them in an airtight container on ice. The best thing to do is to make sure that you stay safe. It is good, it's a good time now to get knowledge of first aid and also CPR, because this may become very, very useful in a hurricane. In any case, be prepared and stay safe.
Safety during the storm. Stay indoors and away from windows. Find a safe room or an interior space without windows. Keep your emergency kit with you and avoid using electrical appliances during the storm.
Preparation is the key to staying safe during the hurricane season. Remember, it's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. Share these tips with your friends and family, and let's all stay safe this hurricane season. If you found this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more safety tips. See you next time.
And brought to you by Flashpoint Media.
Alright, brought to you by Flashpoint Media. Yeah, of course, if you want to listen to our web radio, go to www.flashpointmedia.ky. Our web radio is all day, 24 hours. Great stuff comes on. In fact, the breakfast hour, every single program that we do on YouTube or Facebook or whatever is also live at the same time when it's live on air on our radio. So please, you will only miss the pictures, but there are some awesome programs that we have. Tomorrow, I like the Yankee, we yard link up tomorrow. Everybody come out and enjoy some of that.
Tomorrow is All Gospel Friday, so today is Yardley. Today is also Flash Talk.
Today I'm using today as Wednesday. What's that?
Naturally. Today is time for Flash Talk.
The link comes up later on today.
We're going to talk about
graduations and some of the reasons.
Yes, and education and what you think.
Yes, graduation and education. I think when you look at that topic, though, it's a very broad topic, And what is education? It has been a big conversation for a long, long time.
Yes.
And we have listened to persons, go off and we have no a state of what apartheidism is. You know what? Apartheid. Yeah, apartheidism. I don't know if you know what it is, but I'm gonna say it. So in South Africa, there was a thing called apartheid.
Yes.
And the apartheid is that you could be someone who could be black or white at a given time.
Yes.
You could be black or white at a given time, but you could be given status of being white. Honorary white. And if you're not so black, you could give a status as being more white than black, so you could be on the white side.
Yes.
And that could do it. But here's the thing for you. We have to transfer for that even close to home. Now we are using education to be the consciousness of apartheidism. What am I saying? If you don't have certain level of qualification in terms of education, you are no longer a part of this narrative. You can't be a part of this social group of persons. But if you do, without having education, go and get one, then now you can be a part of this group of people.
Well, listen. I don't want you to bring all the conversation now, because certainly this evening we want to have that conversation going. What does it mean to you? I mean, there are a lot of graduations going on. As a matter of fact, I've had a few persons who have graduated and they're qualified, but the jobs aren't there. What does that say to you when you think about graduation and education, and how do you provide for yourself? What's the narrative?
Well, I have lots to talk about that later on, and of course, I have lots to say on that. I have lots to talk about. I have lots to talk about on the idea of going to school.
Of course, encourage our listeners and viewers to join us, of course, for the uncut edition of Flash Talks this evening at 7 p.m.
At least I tell you, it won't turn up. It ain't going to stay bad. Because, when I think about the whole storyline of the education that would be received.
I think you're ready to start the conversation, but...
Alright, let's get out of here. Of course, guys, it has been a minute. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking and staying with us. We had fun with you. I hope the conversation was good enough. If there's a, if you have a comment or so, put it in the description below. Make a comment and tell your side of the story. Biggie Wee got a leather jack, the simple jack on him. Simple Wee said, "Let me tell you how it go. 1 week him carry my father looking for the same cow. Right? 1 whole week. And my father couldn't find it until he get the first lick. Him said, let me tell you how it go. Sorry, not let me tell you. Make me tell you how it go." And so my father was taken to the location that this cow was slaughtered. It says that sometimes, have yourself a good day.
Have yourself a wonderful day. This has been the Breakfast Hour. This is Lady Elise, and of course, I am joining Mikey G, bringing you to work, home, school, or if you're chilling at home. It was a pleasure being here. See you tomorrow, same time, same place, on the Breakfast Hour. And happy belated birthday, Yorian Torian. Have a good one.
I want to say good morning to Nikki as well. Good morning, Nikki. Maybe it's mid-afternoon, I'm not sure, but thank you for letting us be a part of this wonderful celebration today, right here on Flash.
This is Flash Talk, the uncut edition. Say it just how you feel it. No filters, no fluff, just real talk with the full Flashpoint fam. Get with it.
From hot takes to belly laughs, the crew is locked in and ready.
From debates that might get a little spicy, including all VIP members.
This is where vibes meets voice, jokes meets truth, and we talk things.
We are here to get real.
It's raw, it's real, and it's about time.
The big conversation.
This is Flash Talks, the uncut edition. Flash Farm. What are the things there now?
Real people, real voices, real conversations.
Flash Talk, the uncut edition, at 7 p.m. every Thursday, right here on Flashpoint.
Need help to produce your podcast? Flashpoint Media makes it very easy. We can relieve you of the headache by recording your podcast for you. So, take the first step to getting your content to your desired audience. Contact us here at Flashpoint and your podcast will be live in no time. Our website is www.flashpointmedia.ky or call us at 345-321-6969. That's a 345-321-6969.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coraleekaren, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd, just you and me together. It will all seem better outside, just us in the sky.
The internet to advance the gospel of Jesus Christ, transforming lives, renewing hearts, 24/7, 7 days a week. Internet radio in a class by itself. We're flashing the gospel around the world as a witness. And someone will say, you know what? I heard it on Flashpoint Radio and my life has been changed. Flashpoint in a class by itself.